Welcome back, my fellow Apex enjoyers. We had a blast last night. We got to witness Gabriel Bonfim, 50-45, dismantle the GOAT, Belal Muhammad, who's now on a 3-fight losing streak, and I hate to say I told you so, but this man is headed to the RAF. Right after I made my prediction video, Belal signed with them, and he's going to be doing like an interesting little match with Ben Askren. Mad respect to Ben Askren's recovery, but we got Apex violence to talk about. Only 2 underdogs hit on this card, and I got both of them. So absolutely flawless performance by Gabriel Bonfim. We'll be keeping an eye on him moving forward, because he took it to Canelo hands. You know, Bully B, folks, watch out. Belal Muhammad's offense is powerless, but we knew this going in, and like there's no problem with that, but if your like method of attack is to win a 5-round decision over a guy like Bonfim who's way bigger than you, you're going to have to do it with some groundwork, Belal. But he didn't shoot takedowns. I don't know why. Maybe Belal's body's falling apart behind the scenes. I don't know, but mad respect to Gabriel Bonfim. He's actually a savage. How did Gabriel Bonfim do it? Well, I think Belal Muhammad fought genuinely scared of the ground this fight because hardly any takedowns from Belal other than like a fake glove touch like Khamzat Chimaev type beat in the 3rd round trying to get down Bonfim. Didn't work. Bonfim way too big for him, but also faster than him. Like the hand speed. Normally we credit Canelo hands here with the hand speed and stuff like this, and the volume that Belal can dish out. But no, the Bonfim brothers are legit, man. Gabriel Bonfim is an amazing boxer first, and like then he's like a sub-merchant in the back pocket, so I knew that about him. I thought he'd finish Belal because he's just basically like a giant Vicente Luque, and Luque knocked him out a while back, so... But just a great look from Gabriel Bonfim, improving to 20-1, tons of finishes. I mean, like, nobody knew him going into this except us hardcores, but you know what? He is a serious threat, and look, all I can say is... Not a whole lot to really break down. Domination from Bonfim. Would have liked him to sort of ramp up and try and finish Belal because that's a real feather in your cap. No eye pokes needed. I'm looking at you, Ian Gary. Bonfim is really yet to let me down. I know the Dalby win like gets really thrown in his face his whole career, but this dude's legit. Yet another next generation welterweight gonna kill all these unks. Fights to make next. I want to see Gabriel Bonfim fight Jack Della Maddalena, who he called out in the post-fight speech. Rip Jack Della Maddalena's career. I don't know, that's a tough fight for both guys, but look, all I'm like, can Jack Della Maddalena just get a bounce back? Like, I said this even before he fought Protest, like, take a big step down and like rebalance your career because it's not getting any easier at welterweight these days. As for Belal Muhammad, look, I don't see him changing weight classes anytime soon. He's involved with the RAF now, and their paychecks are heavy, so I think Belal Muhammad might leave this sport quicker than we realize, so I'm not going to matchmake him out of respect. Just got his ass handed to him. I don't even know who you match him up with. Gabriel Bonfim was number 11th, and kind of just jumped into like the bottom of the top 5 with this win. So yeah, Jack Della Maddalena has to be next. Super impressed with Gabriel Bonfim. I thought he would genuinely like slime Belal out or like catch him in a nasty guillotine, but no, just schooled him on the feet, rinsed and repeated every round. I wanted him to get more aggressive, but it's not that bad of a loss from Belal Muhammad, but I saw it coming. Now, onto the elephant in the room. I got a little bit of shit for this one because I think Edmund Shahbazyan had a good little performance in rounds 1 and 2, and you can't argue with me because he ended the fight with more strikes than Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen was getting the bigger reactions with his shots, I understand that, but like Edmund was never hurt. He got cut up in round 3, but rounds 1 and 2 of this fight, Edmund Shahbazyan showcased great anti-grappling stuff to every takedown, was calf kicking Brendan Allen. Allen's just a tougher guy and didn't give the reactions, but if you actually break this fight down with like an analytical mindset, it's really, really close. I could have seen judges giving rounds 1 and 2 to Edmund Shahbazyan. It got fight of the night because it got like ugly in round 3 and both guys like really like emptied the gas tank, but this was a close fight, and it kind of showed me that Brendan Allen is really clinging to that number 4 spot at middleweight. Like, it's just tough to see him winning against my guy Caio Borralho, even Dricus. Even if Dricus is ducking him and thinks Brendan Allen is a risky fight for him, I think Dricus would be fine. All in Brendan Allen. He's just looking good against like that mid-tier of middleweight. That's a funny way of phrasing it, but I think that's the truth. Like, a beatdown over Marvin Vettori is to be expected. He survived against Nasruddin Imavov. Imavov also had a horrible performance, was low volume that fight, but Allen definitely lost on optics in Paris, so that one is what it is. But what are you doing taking this fight was like my initial reaction, but now I sort of understand it because I think Bahalio and Pfeiffer were meant to fight each other, but it got scrapped due to Bahalio injury or something like this. Dricus apparently is in camp and has a fight booked. It's rumored to be Usman. So Brendan Allen just kind of got unlucky, and the timeline didn't work in his favor, so sure, whoop up on an unranked, make some extra money. It's yet another performance where he doesn't separate himself from the pack. It was a gritty fight, a close fight with Edmen Shahbazyan, not making me confident in Brendan Allen moving forward. Brendan Allen is going to be a top 10 middleweight for a long, long time. He already has been, but I think that's where he's meant to stay. Fights to make next. Edmen Shahbazyan, this freak show. I don't know, maybe you can give Edmen a Teba Gautier. I know that seems like a massive punishment, but that's a decent little test. Edmen looked sort of scared of the grappling from Brendan Allen in this fight, but as for the pure striking goes, looked okay, was a little like low volume and scared shitless of being taken down, but fuck it, give him a Teba Gautier. Gautier needs a step up. They'd be happy to sacrifice Edmen, is all I'm saying. But as for Brendan Allen, you now have a bit of breathing room in your career. You're going to be solidified in the top 5 of middleweight, so this was actually a genius move from him. I want to see Brendan Allen versus Joe Pfeiffer for the salty weight world title. This fight absolutely needs to happen. Stylistically, rankings-wise, Pfeiffer really gained a lot of spots really quickly by taking out Adesanya. Phenomenal performance there. I think that fight's fun. I think there's a high chance of a finish. They're both salty meatheads. Let's run it. Joe Pfeiffer, Brendan Allen is the fight you didn't know you needed at 185. Now, not to flex my pick or anything, guys, but Bedtime MMA and I stood alone on the Tom Nolan Island. Plus 300 underdog on Tom Nolan. I told you guys, I see a bit of Steve Garcia in this dude. He is just a filthy swamp rat brawler from Queensland, Australia. Tom Nolan is now on like a 5-fight win streak. He stole all the momentum here of Ziam. Tom Nolan can really ask for a lot off of this win. Seems like an intelligent kid. Called out Renato Moicano after just a really gritty scrap with a lot of wrestling, a lot of tall man wrestling in this fight. Ziam, what are you picking him for? Are you picking him to KO Tom Nolan? I personally don't see it. Ziam, the Matt Frivola knee in Paris is doing a lot of heavy lifting with his career. He's not just some sharpshooter. Tom Nolan's a really underrated lightweight, guys. He shouldn't have been this big of an underdog. He's really, really good at kickboxing. Long-range weapons like you wouldn't believe. Sharp punches, sharp elbows. Knows what he's doing in the clinch and got dirty in the wrestling. Against a more experienced BJJ player like Moicano, even though Moicano is fully unked out by this point, maybe Tom Nolan would make a lot of errors in the grappling and fall into his submission or get reversed. But against a pure striker, his tall man wrestling here was absolutely on point. Lots of control time. Fights to make next. I say make Tom Nolan Moicano. Moicano said easy money on Twitter. Seems like he isn't turning it down, so maybe they make that one pretty soon. 2 options for Ziam. If the UFC wants to really bend over to this guy, they can give him like Jim Miller in France. That's the obvious like plot armor matchup that I see in my mind. But if you want to like really get him tested again, throw him in the Apex once more and give him like Rafa Garcia, like out of Bloodline MMA. Rafa Garcia is like the complete opposite of Ziam. He's short, iron-chinned Mexican, really, really good fighter. That would be a fun clash of styles, and I'd probably go with Garcia because Ziam is a little bit overrated. Moving on. Iwo Rudy Baraniewski, folks. Another underdog I went with was Tafa because both guys, heavy hitters early in their careers. I talked about how Tafa, just got his gym membership and started shaving off a lot of that weight, but all of his durability also left. He was instantly destroyed by Rudy Baraniewski after 2 calf kicks, and the Polish power was on display. I've never seen that before, even in the heavier weight classes, where just two perfectly placed fucking calf kicks from a absolute fucking pack mule like Baraniewski. But now I think it's over. Sadly, we entertained the idea of the Tafas in the UFC, even the two Ivasas, but they just don't train. They don't condition their bodies at all. They disgrace their bodies, and Junior Tafa now has a 7-6 record, and that's unacceptable in the UFC. I will stop predicting your fights if they let a male fighter with that record stay in the UFC. You know, women are different. If you have like a poppin' social media account, like maybe we can talk about it, but Junior Tafa, you bring nothing to the UFC, okay? You raged out at Walter Walker a long time ago, and I will never forgive you for that, that unprofessionalism. Despicable. Fights to make next. Rudy Baraniewski, mini Jan Blachowicz, or not even mini, the same weight class. Jan Blachowicz 2.0, young Jan Blachowicz. We need to see Iwo Baraniewski versus Iwan Kutelaba. Maybe that's just what it is. These people with these 3-letter first names are just violent as fuck. He's still just a power-chucking meathead, but has good grappling. We need to see Baraniewski's takedown defense. He comes from wrestling, but he's literally just getting away with nuking people out fight after fight. So really fun fight, two aggressive fighters. As for Junior Tafa, out you go. Bryce Thug Nasty Mitchell, baby. What did we say? Taking this young whippersnapper to school with the farm strength. Brought him out to the farm. We saw if he could do hard labor, and Santiago Luna, all respect to you for stepping up on short notice. We had a lot of pulled out fights for this card, like Marcus McGee as well. So shout out to these guys that came in on short notice. But Bryce Mitchell is a loose cannon, okay? Nobody can predict what that man's going to say. But as for his fighting abilities, Bryce Mitchell is fucking relentless with the wrestling and an intelligent grappler. His takedown entries are high IQ, and he sticks to you like glue. Bryce Mitchell's been doing this for many years in the UFC now, and people don't talk about it. Took down Ilia Topuria, and the bell saved Ilia, didn't get up. No, but I think seriously, Bryce Mitchell's one of these fighters that you have to kill. Straight up, you have to kill him. Like Topuria, where you can hurt him with shots and then sort of wrangle him to a sub. Gene Silva, where you're just an absolute autist, just loaded with muscle. A guy that Bryce can't easily grapple. Or Josh Emmett. Like if a heavyweight runs into that punch of Josh Emmett, they die. So yeah, Bryce Mitchell, you got a farm strength, arc insanity. The odds should have never been this close. I know Santiago Luna had a bit of like youngster aura, but I didn't fall for it. We went with Bryce Mitchell, and he rewarded us with an arm triangle submission. That shit was nasty. Came right at the end of the fight as well. You could tell Luna was exhausted. He had been taken down by Bryce, out-scrambled by Bryce, pancaked by Bryce on the ground, spent a lot of time on bottom position. He will learn, he will grow from this, but fights to make next. Bryce Mitchell now in the bantamweight division. As long as Bryce can make that weight class healthily and, you know, not fully kill himself like Josh Emmett on the scales. I know Bryce never got that high in the rankings, but like at one point he was undefeated. He has a great record still, so I think he should get sort of a faster rise up 135. So let's not waste any more time with Bryce. Let's get him in there with another young whippersnapper. Raul Rosas Jr. versus Bryce Mitchell is a grappling war waiting to happen, all right? That'll be a scramble fest. I cannot wait to see that fight. I hope it happens. And last but not least, I got my fucking heart broken on these early prelims watching Jordan Leavitt, the Monkey King, come out and look super predictable and lose to Brito by ninja choke finish. Shooting for a takedown. Brito pulls like a crafty Gene Silva-esque ninja choke that he hit Bryce Mitchell with on Jordan Leavitt and subs him in round one. Nasty performance. Jordan Leavitt lacks firepower. If you enter the pocket with Jordan Leavitt, he sort of just cowers. We know Leavitt is like a physical dude, a burly dude. He has good kicks and can sort of finesse you in the grappling, but Brito too physical for him, too heavily muscled. Brito's sort of an animal. I want to see Brito move forward because he was on a ton of momentum before he sort of got like low-key robbed by William Gomis in Paris, France, where he did 0 damage but still won the decision somehow, and that, like, sent Brito back to, like, the apex, but, like, Brito used to be on crazy momentum, man. He has good finishes. He knocked out Andre Fili. Yeah, this one was a tough one to watch, but I was ready for it. We had to fade our boy Jordan Leavitt. Seems like the twerking days of Jordan Leavitt are over. Fights to make next for Joe Anderson Brito. I have a filthy Brazilian on Brazilian matchup in my mind, and that is Vinicius Oliveira. We know is moving to 145 and was recently signed to fight Giga Chikadze, but Giga's out with injury, so in slides Joe Anderson Brito for one of the most violent fights you can make at featherweight right now. Two Brazilian mutants, both hard-hitting strikers, hyper aggro in round one. I need this fight in my life. As for Jordan Leavitt, you know, the career's not over at featherweight yet. There's tons of people I can see him out grappling and submitting with, like, some crazy shit, some sus shit, like Suluev stretches, flying inverted reverse twisters, all this good stuff. I want to see Jordan Leavitt bounce back against Chepe Mariscal. That's a guy with not a whole lot of firepower on the feet, probably won't knock out Leavitt, probably won't submit Leavitt either, and we can see Leavitt back to his winning ways. So yeah, rip to Belal Muhammad. Told you guys he's off to the RAF to make hella bank. That's a really, really lucrative gig for these wrestlers who, like, either can't be bothered to, like, go for the title in the UFC anymore, you know, they're on their way out, and it's super enticing to just go wrestle for a couple of minutes and make double the paycheck. So keep your eye on some of these guys about to pop off to the RAF. Everybody told me Bonfim was shit, and he literally just schooled Belal 50-45. He's gonna fuck up Jack Della Maddalena next. As always, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you all real soon.